Guys, it's Deneen here in Photoshop Elements, and I am just going to show you a few things I'm going to do to the digital elements from the Storyteller Kit #1, which is fun. I'm going to use the physical cards. These are story cards, and there were, I believe, 6 of them included. And they all look exactly like this, except they are different colors. So for my spread today, I have a little bit of something different in mind, and it's going to take me through the process of kind of changing some of these cards. So 3 of them are going to remain like this, and I am just going to use my type tool over here, and I am just going to add a text box, and then I will add my text and print this out on the physical card. So for 3 of them, I'm actually using the physical cards, adding the text, and then just running the physical card through my printer. But for 3 others, I have something different in mind, and it's going to take me not using the physical cards, but modifying them digitally and then printing them out entirely. So I will be printing the whole card out on a piece of white cardstock with the journaling. So my plan here is to take the journaling up here, this was fun, and to move it to the bottom. Now, I know, again, as I probably say all the time, that this can be done in a whole bunch of different ways, but I'm going to show you how I do it because it is the easiest way for me, and it's what I'm used to, right? It may not be easy for somebody else because it's not what they're used to, but this is just how I do things. So if you do something different, you keep doing you and, do what works best for you. And if you don't, then maybe you could try to adopt what I'm doing if you're interested in changing journaling cards to fit your needs. So the first thing I'm going to do is, let's see, do I want to work with the orange one? I'm trying to think how I want the colors to be in place. Let's see, I think the orange one is the one that I want to work with. Okay, so I'm first going to go over here, right click, duplicate layer, and OK. I will hide the background because I'm not going to be working with that. Then I will make sure that I have this background copy selected. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose the rectangular marquee tool. And then I'm just going to go ahead and just as close as I can, I am going to choose the text with definitely some orange space around it. And once I have it all selected and the anching marks are around it, anching marks, the marching ants are around it. Yeah, it's 7 o'clock in the morning, so I'm still a little bit groggy. I'm going to right click and I'm going to do layer via copy. So now if I hide the background copy, you see that I just have that. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and choose the background copy, and I am going to go to Image, Rotate, Flip Layer Vertical. And that is going to flip this so that you see now it flipped it vertical. The large rectangle box is on the top, and the backwards words are on the bottom. And that is where this comes in because I am going to move this down. And I am going to cover that up completely, just like that. Now it is oriented differently with the text underneath the box as opposed to the text above the box. So what then I will do is I will just go to Layer, Flatten Image, and OK. And I'm going to do this to 2 additional cards. And then I will show you how I'm planning on doing this, because if you haven't noticed or if I haven't mentioned it, a lot of the planning for all of my hybrid spreads just basically is creating the spread essentially in Photoshop or Photoshop Elements and then just transforming that into something that can be done on paper. So a lot of planning does go ahead into this before I'm actually at my desk. And so I just decided I would show you a little bit of that here. Okay, so again, that is the journaling card. I'm going to also go ahead and show you how I'm going to create a collage for my photos. So I'm going to go to File, New, Blank File, and I am going to create a collage. And I want the collage to be 7 inches wide and 4 inches high. And then again, these are usually default for me. So if not, it's a resolution of 300, color, and then background of white. And then I click OK. So this is all of this canvas is going to be filled with photos. And I have, and if you look here in my photo bin, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 photos. So this is going to be a 2-page spread, and this particular canvas is going to hold 4 of the photos. I'm thinking that, let's see, I'm going to create some boxes here. So let's go to our rectangular marquee tool. I'm not our rectangular marquee tool, our rectangular tool. And I am going to, let's see, I'm not really sure. Let's do 2 inches wide by 4 inches tall. And let's add that in there. Okay, I'm going to slide that up into the corner there. And I'm thinking that I want one of these also over here. So with that shape selected, Command J, and then I will move this one over to here. So those will be masking some photos. Now I have this space in the middle, and the photos that I took are all in the portrait orientation, but if I were to do 4 portraits, they would be pretty skinny. I think this is pushing it already with the width of this. I think I'm already pushing it. And since I want to fit 8 photos on my spread, I'm going to have to maybe try to be a little creative. So I'm going to put 2 landscape boxes here and see how I could fit those photos in. So let's go back to the rectangular marquee. The space that I have to work with here goes from 2 inches to 5 inches. So we want it to be 3 inches wide. Okay, and then I want it to only go down halfway. So that would be 2 inches high. And then I will put my box in there. Okay, so now I have this that is going to fit there. And I will Command J to create another and then pull it down. So now I have a photo collage template where I'm going to be able to pop 4 photos in here. So let's go ahead and look and see about getting those photos in here. This one is going to be a portrait orientation, so I'm thinking that this photo right here would be perfect for that. I'm going to drag that photo in, and it's going to just pop in there. It popped not on top, so I'm going to bring it to the top, and I'm going to kind of move it over to this side. And you see over here, I'm going to also order these. So this is shape 1. I'm going to put that on top. And then shape 2, second, shape 2 copy, and shape 1 copy. So that'll help me to know where I want to place things. So here's shape 1, which is all the way on the left, and then the photo above it. So all you really have to do is hold down Option on a Mac, and I believe it's Alt on an HP, and hover between those 2 layers and click. And that will then allow me to mask that photo inside of that shape. Now, I'm not going to do much changing here because you can see my photo is the exact same height of the box. So if I were to go ahead and start to manipulate this smaller, I'm going to lose height. I can do it larger if I want to and kind of zoom in and then move this over like that. I can do that as well if I want to. So that's, again, just trying to figure out how to best fit your photo inside of that box. I'm going to leave it like that. Maybe just let it go. I don't know. Maybe I'll put something down here like a phrase sticker or something. I'm not entirely sure. We'll see, right? Some things I can plan, but some things are left to the unknown. Alrighty, so then over here, I need a photo that I can fit to a landscape. Now, I don't have any of those because all of them are portrait. I'm going to try this one here of me and my coworker. Let's drag it in and see what happens. Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to roll, but I am going to try it. So here we are. I'm going to hold down Option or Alt, and I'm going to do that. So now we're looking at a lot of this being chopped off. So I can do this to preserve more of his face and cut off more of mine. I can do this to do the opposite. What I am thinking though, and let's just think this out, is I could make one of these or this top box a little bit larger than this smaller one, right? I don't need to have them both be equal. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of, for now, just pull this down and resize that, and then go to shape 2 and pull that one down. And you can see how it's revealing more of my photo. And I can just resize that. Try there. Maybe move that down. Nope, I didn't want to do that. Okay, let's get rid of that. Maybe there, and then commit. Okay, and then I could move the photo around within there. I was trying to do too many things at one time. Alrighty, so then this one could be moved back up to meet that box. So let's do that and commit and find another photo that I could possibly change into landscape. So let's try this one here. Let's try this one here and see what we can do. So let's pull that in. It's going to drop. And then I'm going to do Option or Alt and mask it. And then I can move the photo. And then I can move the photo. So yeah, I think that might work. I think I like that. So this does not need to be equal. You can also break this canvas up into a whole bunch of different boxes. You just have to do some measuring and figure out, how do you fill the entire space with whatever kind of boxes you want to. And that is like a trial and error and an experimenting thing, which is one of the things I find so fun about hybrid scrapbooking is that I can just, do things and then make changes and then go back and just kind of play around. We have one last box here, and I would like to add this photo in there. So I'm going to drag that in, and it's going to land underneath all of the others. So I'm going to drag that over. And again, not a lot of resizing can be done here because I need that height. If I wanted to, I could make this larger, but I really do want my little clay pot to be in the entire picture, so I'm not going to do that. And here is my first collage. Okay, so this is kind of like, the photos that I can then embellish later if I want to add things to my collage. Alrighty, so I am doing a 2-page spread, so I need another collage. And instead of starting from scratch, I'm going to go up here. Let's see if I can do it. So File, Duplicate, and I am going to make a copy of this. Okay, so I have this one, and then I have an exact one, but I want to change the photos. So I'm just going to go ahead in and delete each photo, and that kind of gets me starting to from the beginning. All right, so now I have other photos. Let's start with this box here, and let's drag this one into here and move that over. Option or Alt and merge them. Let's see now. Let's do this other one over here. Let's try this. Oops. Let's try this one, dragging this in and pulling that above there, moving it over. And then this one can be resized a bit if I want to. I don't know though. I think I kind of want to leave that go and have a little bit of space for embellishing, either on the top or the bottom. Not really sure. For now, that's where I'm going to go. The middle piece here. Let's try photo bin. Let's try this one. And again, Option or Alt. Now let's see, I might not need so much space. So I might not need this box to be so large as I made it before. So perhaps I can resize shape 2 again to be at the 2-inch mark, right? I could probably do that. It's close enough right there. Again, I'm not so super picky that I'm going to make a big deal about the exactness of it. And then, of course, this box is going to be brought up to meet that. So let's do that. And then I have one more photo, and let's see, that would be this one. And let's Option or Alt and mask it, and then move the photo around how I like it. So I think that's what I want to do. So I've made 2 collages, and I have changed one of the story cards. So let's go one more step further and show you what is in my head right now. Let me show you what is in my head right now. And again, I will figure more of this out once I get to my desk, but I do have an idea in my head. So let me just create one more canvas. All right, this one I am going to make it be 14 inches wide. No printing will be done from this canvas. This is just kind of like, you know, as if you had a notebook in front of you and you were drawing with your pen, how you were sketching, right? This is like me sketching on the computer. That's what this essentially is. So 14 and 8.25, because that is the size of the outside of the page protector. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so what my plan is, and I'm just going to show you, and I'm going to drag this in, and I'm going to drag this in. So I'm going to drag my 2 collages in, and I'm going to put them in essentially as close to the middle as I can. So my page is going to end up looking like this, with 2 collages next to each other. And then I'm going to use the story cards on the top and the bottom. So I'm not going to pull all of them in, but let's pull in one of the cards that is regular with the words on the top, and then let's pull in the card that I changed. Okay, so I pulled those 2 cards in. All right, so I am going to, let's see, I always like to mark the middle when I'm doing this because I want to know where the holes are going to go. And so the holes are going to go here and the holes are going to go here. So it doesn't look like when I punch my holes to put it into the album that I'm going to be punching into anybody's face or punching into any significant pieces of the collage. But I do want to put these underneath. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to drag these down underneath the photo collages. Okay, both of them are going to go underneath. And then I'm going to place these like this. Okay, so I am going to only be using a portion of each story card. I will have my journaling typed into here, and then my journaling typed into here. And then I'm just going to find a way to position these, and I'm going to line them across the top. All right, so there are 6 of them. Now, just to kind of give you an idea of what my brain is thinking at this point, let me just go ahead and not worry about colors. I'm going to duplicate this one twice. So Command JJ, hit J twice because I'm duplicating it twice, and I'm going to move these over. Okay, I'm going to do the same down here. Select it, Command JJ. That will duplicate it twice. And then I'm thinking that there will be 2 for some balance. So 2 on the top, 1 on the bottom, 1 on the top, 2 on the bottom. And then I will figure out later what I'm going to do with this additional space. Haven't really thought about that yet. All right, so perhaps we can distance these apart a little and maybe make one a little bit smaller. That might be a good idea. Can do that. Maybe put this one in the middle down here, right? Maybe we can do that. Maybe I could move that down using my arrow key to make it a little bit larger. A little bit more of the card sticking out, that's fine. I could put this one in the middle to kind of give it some symmetry, right? Middle. Move this one over a little bit. Maybe move this one down a little bit so that I'm taking up more of the space. Perhaps I could even move this one up and move it over. again, just playing around to give you an idea of what I'm thinking this is going to end up looking like. So is it done? No. But I do know that I need to put some journaling in here. Let's see. Probably a good idea that I can do now would be to say, okay, is this how I want this? Commit myself to how much of the cards I want sticking out. And then go in and actually draw my text box just to give me an idea of how much text I can fit on here. So do you see how it's measuring? The width is 2.284. The height is 0.0884. I can go ahead and write that down. And then when I am adding the journaling to my, well, actually what I could do here, what I could really do here, this would be fantastic to do, is just kind of do the journaling on this spread, like do the journaling here. So let's just add, excuse me, let me just add some journal. This is not the font I'm using. This is nothing. I'm just adding the words in here, or the letters, just to get some text. And then commit. What would happen, I don't know how this is going to work. Again, sometimes you see me experiment and I don't really know what I'm doing. Let's select this layer and go to layer, duplicate layer. Let's see what would happen if I were to put this into the pink story card. So do you see, here's the layer. I am duplicating it into the pink story card and click OK. Let's go over there and see what that would look like. Would that work? And it would. Oh, yes. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay. So let me just recap that for you super quick. I am going to, with this mock-up, I am going to go ahead and add my text boxes, because this way I will know that I want this journal card to stick up a little bit further than this one. So I know how much room I have for text. I could add my journaling in here, copy the journaling, paste it into the actual digital version of the journaling card. Then I could go ahead, let's see here, and I know that this needs to be a little bit smaller. So let's, again, just messing around and showing you. This obviously is not the journaling I'm going to use, but this would need to be a little bit smaller, right? Commit my changes, and then layer, duplicate layer, and then perhaps I will duplicate this one into the blue story card. And then go over here, find the blue story card. There it is. See how it fell over there? I could drag that over here, and then I could put it here. So now I know when I run my physical card through the printer that my journaling has to be in this space here, right? So I will actually have my journaling. So that was not something I planned ahead of time, but I do think it's an excellent idea for making my cards the way that I want them. All right, so let's see what's going to happen here now. Oops. Let's go to how I'm going to print these two collages. All right, my plan for that is to have another blank file. And I think I'm just going to do the, let's see, US paper. US paper, okay. I will drag both of these collages into my US paper, and then I will just kind of position them so that they are bumped up against each other. Let me zoom out there. And I will print this out on one sheet of photo paper, and that will save me some photo paper. I'll have a little bit left here at the bottom. So that'll happen. And then, of course, like I said, I will go in, I will do my journaling. I will run these through my printer. So that is the plan. And I think that's pretty much it. Nothing from this mock-up here is going to be printed. This is strictly, again, like a sketch. Now, if you are someone who does your journaling with your handwriting, you don't have to worry about this at all, because you can just take the physical cards, you can do your journaling to wherever you want to end your journaling on each card, and then just trim that off. So depending on what kind of journaling you do, you will either follow the steps that I did, excuse me, or you will go ahead and just do your handwritten journaling. All right. So let me get this stuff printed. Let me get my text typed. Let me get my cards run through my printer. And then I will meet you back at my desk and we'll start to put this whole thing together. Okay, so I'm here back at my desk. These are the cards that I just ran through my Epson PM400 printer. They are right side up. Those are the physical cards. And here are the ones that I turned upside down and moved the word art. And I have those on one sheet of cardstock. My photo collages that I will cut down the middle there to fit across 2 pages. And I think I'm going to use this as my background. And I don't need 2 full 7 by 8 1/4 pieces because the collage is going to fill the middle. This was a little bent in shipping, so I will work on the other side as opposed to the side that was bent. So let's go ahead and start here with my trimming of the collages, just trimming it around the outside. And then once I'm done with that, I will line it up and I will cut it in half so those match together. And then I will cut out the cards that I did digitally on the Photoshop Elements app. And these are going to be on the bottom of the collages sticking out. And that's the reason why I had turned the journaling, I guess upside down, but now it's right side up with the way that I printed. So again, using this, I'm going to cut it to 7 inches wide, and then I'm going to cut it the other way every 3 inches. So I'm going to end up with like 4 3-inch pieces, and they are just going to go on the tops and on the bottoms of my cardstock background. Just because, like I said earlier, I'm going to put the photo collage through the middle, so I don't need the entire background to be filled with this pattern. I was thinking while I was doing this that you could also alternate and kind of do the top with the plus signs and the bottom with the color, and then vice versa on the other one. That's definitely something you can do to mix it up and to add some color. For me, I was okay with the plus sign paper. I liked the black and white background and then the pops of color from the 3x4 cards. So I'm just adhering the photo collages right next to each other. Did some measurement on the first one, and then the second one I just lined up with the first. And that's how I'm going to put my cards. I had considered just sliding them underneath the collage, but then I decided that cutting them would probably make it less bulky. Going through my embellishments here, picking out some things that I might want to add in addition to the cards. I do have some space, so I'd like to fill that space above and below the collage as well. Punched my holes, and now I am ready to start trimming down my cards. I started by trimming and then placing and then trimming and then placing. And then I realized that I could just trim every single one of these at the same time. So I switch up to doing that and get all of them cut out. And then I'm just placing them where I'd like them. And this is where 2 of the die cut pieces are going to come in. The one says fun times, and the other one has a very perfect quote about creativity. So those were perfect for this particular topic that I'm working with. And I also pulled out the die cut numbers. And I realized that I would only be using 1 through 6 and that 7, 8, 9. And I think there was a 1 and a 0 and a 10. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, if there was a 10 or not. But I do know that I'm only using 1 through 6. So I'm just kind of deciding where I want to put these. While I was doing this, I was thinking about the Storyteller Zoom that I sat and listened to the other day. And Allie was talking about how do we put our numbers on, right? And I think she goes right across the top, 1, 2, and then 3 on the top, and then 4, 5, and 6 on the bottom. And I realized that I don't do that. I do the 1 and the 2 and then the 3 on the bottom of the first page of the spread. And then I go to the 4, 5, and the 6 on the other page. So not something I ever really thought about until she had mentioned that. So you can do that either way. You can do that either way. That's perfectly fine. I just wanted the reader to be able to follow along with the story and how they are going to read the journaling as they are going through and looking at my spread. So here I am just kind of pulling out a couple of the other die cuts and placing them on the collage in different places, 3 of them. And I think that's all that I add when it comes to elements from the kit. Those other 3x4 cards, they are going to be for the future use, right? I'm going to use them for something else, maybe my summer album or something. I don't know. So anyway, I do stamp the date and then realize after I've done so that it says 2024. So I let it go. I will figure out a way to fix that later. I'm not super worried about that. It will be in my album for 2025. So if I fix it, I fix it. And if I don't, I don't. And then I just finished off by pulling out my chipboard stars and adding a little star near each of the die cuts on the collage just for some dimension. And here is how it looks in my album. So I'm thrilled with how it turned out. I love the color on the top and the bottom. I love the black and white photos. One of the reasons why I chose black and white photos was because these photos were taken at school, and in our high school where this occurred, the decor, so to speak, is total 1970s, and a lot of the photos had like bright green carpet and bright orange carpet, and it completely clashed with the color scheme of the Storyteller kit. A lot of times I won't really bother with that, but this time I just wasn't liking how it looked. So that's the reason why I switched to black and white. So that's it, guys. There is my second story from the Storyteller Kit Fun. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for coming along with me, and we will see you guys really soon.